Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of One Minute Cups. My name is James Mitchell. This is Logan O'Sullivan, and we're here to host today's content. So just to give you guys a quick overview, I'm going to start off with the history of One Minute Cups, as always, and then we're going to have our presentation given to us by our actual presenter, Alina. After that, it's going to be Q&A from our audience, both live and in person. And after that, I'm going to close and wrap it up. Sounds good? Sounds good. Cool. So, One Minute Cups was created by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation, and the purpose of this foundation, was to work with communities in entrepreneurship and education, which they wanted to increase opportunities to allow all people to learn to take their own risk and to own their own success, and they did that through this platform called One Minute Cups. But what is One Minute Cups exactly? One Minute Cups is a free weekly program that educates, engages, and connects local entrepreneurs. It's a community where people like us get to have different conversations about business and be able to put it back into our businesses if we do have some. But overall, that's what it is, it's a community. The mission behind One Minute Cups is to, again, lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connection for all different types of new and aspiring entrepreneurs. And just have, different conversations that you don't usually have with other people. And it started off small. It started off in Kansas City, 2012, with one community. Then it grew to two communities, 2013. As you guys see the chart, it grew all the way to 163 communities as of January 2018. I think it's above 200 communities as of 2021, and should be increasing in 2022. But in each location, there's usually 1 or 2 presentations. But today we'll only have one presenter. She will have 6 minutes to present, along with 15 minutes of Q&A. For our audience, if you want to join us every Wednesday at 9 a.m., please be posted, and we will get back. We will get with you. And if you want to know more about our chapter, please visit our website at www.onemakecups.com/Chico. With that being said, Alina, if you would take the floor is now yours.
Thank you, James. Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Alina Boyte, and established businesses hire me to help them bridge impact goals with impact and profit goals, because most don't know how to bridge profits with impact. And so I help them incorporate their impact mission into their business goals. I'll start with my presentation. Just give me a minute so my slides can pull up. But here it is. So the title of the presentation is called Revealing Your Hidden Impact. And the reason why it's titled this way is because every business has an impact on the community and in the larger society. Whether the impact is negative or positive, there is an impact. So we want to make sure that we lessen the negative impact and maximize the positive impact. So hence the title of the presentation. I'm the founder and the current CEO of the Changemaker Institute. And the problem that we have identified looking into our market is that more and more entrepreneurs are becoming aware of their need to have a positive impact on society and the planet. And this is especially so post the pandemic, where customers are making deliberate choices to spend their money on companies that whose mission actually aligns with theirs, right? So more and more companies, more and more entrepreneurs are feeling the need to actually make that pivot, but they don't know how to actually create sustainable and meaningful social impact while being profitable. And there are many reasons for that, but the 3 primary reasons is sometimes they cannot articulate or demonstrate the impact that they're trying to create, or they do not know how to create impact in a systematic and sustainable way. Or sometimes, even if they have an idea of the impact that they want to create, or they know how to be profitable while pursuing that goal, they are unable to state a business mission that actually attracts customers, collaborators, and investors to them. So our focus is really on solving this problem. How do we help for-profit businesses be impactful, but at the same time remain profitable? So the solution that we have to that problem is we've developed very specific training and coaching programs. We've developed educational programs, and we have also built a trusted community that works like a mastermind. So it's not a formalized mastermind, but together the community tend to help each other and build each other up as they pursue impact and profits at the same time. So the proprietary framework that we use with our students and our clients to think about impact is called the 5 C's of impact and the 5 M's of business. And these are the key impact indicators that help us figure out how to actually incorporate an impact goal into the business model. So the ultimate goal really is to make sure that this company or this entrepreneur has a way of actually achieving that impact, but that impact is also incorporated into the business so that the business remains profitable and it can actually sustain and upkeep that impact work, right? So we look at being really clear on what social impact means, right? And by social impact, we're not just trying to impact our customer or our immediate client. We're actually looking at a broader social impact in terms of impacting society in a positive way, which would include, impacting, dealing with things like poverty, maybe, right? Or hunger, right? Or climate change, right? And so the impact that we're looking at is a larger societal environmental type of impact. And to do that, we need to get clear on what that impact looks like. We need to start thinking about solving a social problem in a creative way. And then from there, we need to actually have the courage to actually pursue that impact. Because sometimes when we think about impact work, we might think, well, how am I going to address something like the climate, right? Or how am I going to address something like poverty, which is a huge problem? And who am I as an individual to address that? We want to shift the thinking, right? Once you've gotten creative about resolving the impact, to actually having the courage to then pursue that impact. And that takes, it takes small steps, but you would build on that, right? And then as you do that, you get traction and momentum, right? And then you actually see that impact materialize. And then also to actually think of impact from a more rational, compassionate basis, right? So you're thinking about it rationally, but at the same time remaining compassionate, right? And being a part of a community or forming your own community to support that impact. And once we are clear on that, we incorporate that impact into the business. Then we start thinking of this business as an impact-based business and start thinking about what the mission is, right? So you would tie that mission back to the impact. Start thinking about the market. Who are you going to market to so that the market itself will help you support the impact work that you're doing? And once you're clear about that, then you need to start thinking about your message, right? How do you start communicating with the market? How do you start telling them about your business so that you attract them? And from there, you start thinking about money, right? And when we talk about money, we're talking about how do you actually get funds to keep your business going, but at the same time support your impact mission. So the money can come in terms of investment, right? Are you looking to get impact investment, for example, right? To which you have to start thinking clearly about your ESG metrics, your environmental, social, and governance metrics to make sure that it satisfies the criteria of your investor, right? But you also want to draw in customers that are aligned to your mission. You also want to draw in collaborators that are aligned to your mission, right? And we think about that when we think about, well, how do we make money, enough money that we can actually support the mission? And then also maximizing your margins, right? So that your income, the margin between your revenue and your cost is as large as possible so that you have a larger profit margin from having that impact as part of your business, right? So the core of what we do is to get you to a place of clarity, because the understanding, what we know is that the most persuasive and powerful statements, right? They can actually help you make that impact comes from a place of clarity and not confusion. Right, so that's the problem, that's the solution, and this is the market analysis. So the size of the market is actually quite large. There are 582 million entrepreneurs worldwide, and out of that, we have 3,500 certified B corporations worldwide, globally, which means that B corporations are corporations that have a core social purpose at their as part of their DNA, and they are certified. They have to go through a pretty stringent certification process to make sure that they are taking care of their employees, the environment, their community, to actually get certified as a B Corp. And there are 3,500 certified B Corps globally. In the UK, there are 70,000 social enterprises that employ 1 million people. And in the US itself, there are the total number of people that are employed by social enterprises is 10 million, and the enterprises generate annual revenues of $500 billion, right? So that's a pretty significant market of people and entrepreneurs and companies that actually want to do social impact work. And the way we are trying to reach them is by speaking engagements. So we're trying to speak on as many stages, such as 1 million cups, right? Podcasts and summits as possible, so that our word gets out there. We have free webinars and masterclasses as a funnel to our paid programs. We have business roundtables. We actually hosted 6 business roundtables over the summer, discussing anything related to social enterprises, from running a social enterprises to raising funds to intellectual property rights. And so we did that. We are also doing social media marketing, but this is all done organically. We have an email list of 750 people, and we send weekly newsletter to our email list. And of course, we have affiliates. But if you notice, we are not spending any money on paid ads. All this is done organically. And our outreach right now is all through organic outreach. So that's our market analysis. And this is our growth metrics and expectations. So sales revenue projected 35,000 by the end of Q1 next year. We just launched, so all our programs up to this point has been free, and we just launched our first paid program on December 6th this year. So we only just launched our paid programs, and we're planning to launch more paid programs next year. But the expected reach is $250,000 by the end of next year. And customer engagement, we are hoping that through our speaking engagement and talking on stages like this, we will increase our email subscribers by 5% every month, and that our conversion rate from registration to attending a free event will be 50%, which is pretty high. Usually, if you can get 30% from registration to attending, that's pretty good. But 50%, we're trying to aim higher, because if we can actually nail the message down, I think we can actually get more conversion. And then from there, 5% conversion of our people who attend to our paid programs. So customer retention, we are aiming for 90% customer retention rate. So that's pretty high, but we're also working on making sure that our programs are top notch, so that our customers are happy with our product. And from there, we can have upsells. So 10% out of our customers would opt to take our higher paid programs. And that's our plan. So the thing that we keep saying is never outsource your mission in the world to someone else. So if you feel called to do social impact work through your business, the one thing that we shouldn't do is outsource it to, the government or a nonprofit or a philanthropic organization, thinking that we are not able to make that change, right? So if you feel called to solve a problem, let's just say poverty in your community, or if you feel called to solve something like, the climate, if you feel called to that, try to figure out how you can actually answer that call, and try not to outsource that mission to organizations or entities that that you feel should be responsible for that impact. So that's our growth metrics and expectations. And for the community's help, what we would love for you to support us with is to go to our website. So the website is here, changemakerinstitute.org, and take our social impact readiness assessment, because it gives you an idea of what we need to have a social impact company, right? So the assessment has 10 questions with 5 choices each, right? And you can get a score depending on your answer. So if you get a higher score, it means that your company is in a better position to create impact. And if you score a lesser score, it means that there's some work that needs to be done. And then once you take that impact assessment, we will send you the results. That means what your scores, each one of your scores mean. And then a couple of days later, we will follow up with an email with some of the programs that we have at the Changemaker Institute. So that's what we will love your help with. Number 2, promote our programs to your community and your audience. And also, if you are able to or willing to, let us speak to your community and audience to tell them about what we do and what we do through the Changemaker Institute. As I mentioned earlier, our outreach right now is all organic. We're not spending any money on paid ads. And if there's anyone who would be willing to let us speak to their community and audience, we would love that chance. So that's the last slide I have. I do have a slide about the mission. The mission of the Changemaker Institute really is to help for-profit business bridge profit goals with an impact mission so that they can be a force for good in the world. And a lot of the way we've designed the process, the proprietary process, the 5 C's and the 5 M's, it draws from a lot of academic research in law, economics, philosophy, so that the process actually is designed in a way that will empower the business, but also create the impact that is meaningful, effective, and sustainable. All right, so that is my presentation.
Let's give her a round of applause.
So much for giving us that presentation. As you know, at the beginning of the program, I stated that we're going to go into our Q&A. So this is the second part. We're going to go into our Q&A. But before anybody asks her any questions, I have my question. I want to say, what is your background? Like, can you tell the audience about your background and how you got into this, and what made you go all into Changemaker Institute and create that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually still a law professor. I'm a tenured law professor. So I'm coming to the Changemaker Institute with that background. The reason why we were talking earlier, I spent a lot of time in the Bay Area. I went to Stanford Law School and got my PhD in copyright law there. And so my background is actually in intellectual property, but I also studied a lot of, through my work and as a student, I've studied a lot of social systems to understand how laws, architecture, infrastructure, norms, markets can actually result in problems. And so a lot of the process that I talked about earlier is built on that understanding that if we can change norms, markets, infrastructure, or laws, norms, markets, or infrastructure or architecture, then we can actually see systemic change that is sustainable, meaningful, and effective. And so a lot of I'm coming to impact work really from an intellectual property perspective, and looking at legal change as a way to actually, help companies be more impactful.
What do you guys think about that? Interesting?
Yeah. I had a question about your pricing for your service. So, and I guess just a little bit more about the structure of your business model. So how much would it cost for a business to use your service?
Yeah, so the lowest price point is $197 for our workshop, which is a 2-day workshop. It's called the Changemakers Lab. That was the one that we actually launched on December the 6th. And it comes with a workbook and the recordings for life. And that's the lowest price point to engage with us. I'm actually also working on, impact planners and all that. And of course, that's going to be a lot less, like maybe $50 or so. But to engage with us, me and my team, it starts at $197. And then we do have a intellectual property course. It's called Trailblazing with IP, where we actually look at how you take intellectual property, think about intellectual property and structure intellectual property in such a way that you can actually make an impact and also be profitable at the same time. That's a evergreen digital course, and that's priced at I want to say 1197, I think. I think it's 1197 with 7 modules. And then there is it includes a back end, we help with the implementation of what you've learned in that program as well, me and my team. And that's the second paid program. And the third paid program is iSchool, which is Impact School, which is going through the entire process and then also including the back end as well. And I think that's about $3,000 is the price point for that one. And then of course we have one-on-one clients, with
and you were saying you had a conversion rate to your free programs. Was there free programs as well?
Yeah, so our workshops where we actually teach the process, not in that detail, but we actually help you think through that process. That's free. Our master classes are free. We did have a lot of paid. We did have a lot of free programs last year. I mean this year we had a lot of free programs this year. A lot of community building, community engagement that we might carry on next year. That will I guess coexist with our paid programs. But it wasn't until December 6th this year that we actually launched the first paid program, Changemakers Lab. Before that, everything was free.
I have a question.
Yes, Heather.
I think it's okay. What do you have any success stories of businesses that have gone through the program? I was going to look at your website to see if there was, just really quickly, I didn't see anything just from glancing, but I was wondering, like, what type of companies have gone through the program. And
yeah, so right now we actually have one client right now, just one client, and we're helping her. She runs she makes sustainable furniture for high-end clientele, like the luxury market, and trying to raise funds for that. She's our only client at this point. So we haven't actively, like at this point, and then when we had our first paid program, we had 2 attendees. And so we are very new in that sense, in that we just launched a lot of these programs where we've been doing a lot of events. I think in terms of, we want to measure success, it's been the free events and what the attendees took away from the free events at that time. But I think going forward, for people who actually do engage with us, we are going to start tracking. There are 2 different things, there are 2 different levels of impact that we will have to track. Number one is the Changemaker Institute itself. How are we, changing laws and all that, which is something that we are working on. But we're also going to have to track the impact that our clients and our students are making, because we want to see them make the same impact in terms of changing laws, infrastructure, norms, and markets, right? So we want to make sure that they are doing that, able to do that through our process, and our programs. Yeah, but we've only worked with people on an ad hoc basis, and the more formal ones have only come recently.
okay. I also, in my brain, I was thinking that, as not that sustainability is growing because it already is, but I was thinking that actually this would be something that would be taught in a university for students to bring to a company after they graduate, or anybody. And then this would actually be a position within a company that would control this area of the business, right? And that they would be the point person for. I'm sure that's part of the goal of your program, but also, you know, have you seen this taught in other universities or from a student perspective? Or
I love that question, Heather. So you're right in that there are positions in companies like chief impact officer, you know, or impact director that,
right, that's growing.
Yeah, and I've been collecting all the job descriptions, like all the LinkedIn. I get the notification when a new job post to see what companies are actually thinking about when they thinking about impact. But in terms of students, so this is really interesting because actually before I started the Changemaker Institute, I teach law, and I graduated from Stanford, and then I'm tenured right now in Mississippi, and I teach at the law school here. And I wanted to teach social impact as a course. I felt that it was very important because of the way we understand business law, right? Profit driven, because of the way we understand business law, because of the way we understand intellectual property laws. I thought this was an important course that we needed to have in the law school. But my administration didn't want it. And the reason is because this is not something that is going to be tested on the bar, you know, the bar exam. And so I think that schools need to teach this. I really do.
Yeah.
But my school didn't let me teach this as a course. And so from there, I kind of worked with this and talked. Then I did the roundtables, and I realized that a lot of companies are struggling with this issue. And then I took what I know from law, put it together, and, you know, I've spent so many years in academia. Then and then started thinking about, well, how do I make the Changemaker Institute financially sustainable so that it runs by itself? So it's not, I know there is a Changemaker Institute that's part of the University of San Diego.
Okay. But
this is completely different. It's not even affiliated with my law school. This is a standalone public benefit corporation. I might have some trademark issues down the line from the University of San Diego, but until then, we are running as an independent organization.
So that's interesting. Yeah. So you are filling a niche. I mean, are you considered a consulting company or more of an educational?
I like so the programs are educational. So we have digital programs and everything. So it seems structured as an educational company, but we get requests for consulting. So I haven't built anyone yet, but maybe that might be part of the business model going forward.
Yeah. I would think so. I would just, and also the other reason why this question came to mind is because my husband's in product management, and there isn't a ton of product management courses even in colleges, universities yet either, and the side things like design thinking and things like that. And he's actually been connecting with the university here in Chico to maybe teach that. So that's kind of the correlation in my head. Sorry, I'm still having my coffee, so I was trying to get my words together, but.
It's okay.
But that's kind of what I was thinking, and especially consulting, perspective.
Absolutely. So we actually have just finished a design thinking course for our community, one of the free events. We just
nice.
7-week course using the material from D School, the 7 steps. Yeah, we just finished it. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
No, well done. Thank you.
Thanks.
We have one question from the audience. Kent wants to ask. We have a question.
So show up here. Perfect. You taught me. All right. So we had a fellow who started Video Maker magazine and website, who also does presentations at our local Rotary Club. And he, that's the first time I ever heard of B Corps. you said there's like 3,500 around the world in your slideshow, 3,500 B corporations.
Yes. Let me
Yeah,
see.
so, and then there were like a lot more social impact companies. So in your, okay, right. So are you trying to get people to become certified B Corps, or are you just helping people have more of a social impact in your, like your 7-part class?
Yeah.
Or whatever?
So right now,
Good question.
I think the gap in the market right now is even thinking about impact. Before they even think about the B Corp, a lot of companies haven't even figured out how to actually create the impact, and that's where we are focused on. But of course, one of the things that Heather was asking earlier about consulting, we can definitely work with them on getting them certified as a B Corp, because a lot of the requirements to get certified as a B Corp are actually social impact requirements. One, looking at your employees. Number two, looking at your impact on your community. Number three, looking at your carbon footprint, right? All those things are things you would consider anyway when you're trying to establish yourself as an impact-based business. And so one of the things that we're thinking about in the long term might be, the company goes through our programs and then they realize they want to go on and be certified as a B Corp, then we can work with them after they've gone through our program. So that's one way to get into the B Corp. Or if a company is already established and they know that, they have all their processes in place and they know that they want to get certified as a B Corp, we can definitely help as well. So I'm not sure if that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
No, it does. It says, yes, thank you.
Okay, so I have one more last question, but before I say my last question, I'm just gonna ask on this. Anybody else would like to ask their question, now's the time. We're about to wrap it up. But I was gonna need to ask one more last question. So if anybody has one, speak up now. Go once.
I just have one quick question, not the audience, but so this is your service obviously isn't for every business. Can you give me an example of what would make this not good for a certain business? Like I know you said you have a furniture maker that is making sustainable furniture, and that's a good example for helping their business. But what would make, I guess a better question would be the form you have, the questionnaire, to see if your service would be good for a business. What's an answer that would make it not good?
That would make it not suitable. That what would make
Yes.
a company not suitable for our programs?
Correct. That's yes.
I think a company that would not be suitable for our program is our companies. So it can be a company that is not interested in social impact work at all. I think those companies have kind of self-selected themselves out of a program. But I also think that companies that are impact-based but not focused on systems change, they might not be a good fit as well, because our system actually, our process actually focuses on how to create systemic change. So like, some of the impact companies like Warby Parker, you buy one glass and then they give one free, or Bombas, they buy one pair of socks, you give one free, or Tom Shoes. I think those kind of companies, they are impact-based companies, but the way they create impact is through direct service. They are providing the resource directly to the community. You know what I mean? Right? Like you bring water to a village that doesn't have water, right? Or you bring medical services to a village that doesn't have medical services. Those companies may not be that good a fit for our program because they are not focused so much on changing the system that's causing the poverty, that's causing the hunger. They are going there to provide the direct service. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Right,
that's-
Yeah. So those companies may not be a good fit unless they are thinking about systems change. You know, like how do we change the systems that are actually causing the problem, right? So are the laws causing the problem? Maybe we need to change the laws. Are the infrastructure, right, or the architecture causing the problem? Maybe we need to change the architecture, right? By architecture, I mean things like, you know, internet services, right? Or, you know, things that are essential that we need to provide, or markets or norms, right? And that's what we are focused on. If a company isn't thinking about creating impact through systems change, but rather through direct service, maybe they might not be the best fit for our program.
You answered that question great. Sorry I asked that.
No,
No, that was a good question.
it was also my last question as well. Like it was spot on for
Put
sure.
words out of your mouth. Great wrap up.
Yeah, we're about to wrap up now, but thank you, Alina, for joining us. Let's give her another round of applause.
Thank you.
We're about to go to our closing, so bear with us just for a brief second. Okay, so in closing, I'd like to thank, well, even sure supposed to be here, but I'd like to thank Logan O'Sullivan for hosting this position with me. I also like to thank our community sponsors. I'd like to thank Morgan Stanley, Chico Start, Rotec, Global Entrepreneurship Network, T-Bar, Build.com, Startup Grind, Scorpio County, and of course, Stovall Coffee. And for our audience, thank you guys for showing up, both virtual and in person. And join us next Wednesday at 9 a.m. on Zoom. And next week, we won't be having another Woman Makers presentation, just because we will be closed for the holidays, upcoming holidays. But if anybody would like to sign up for our Chico Start newsletter, if you guys need help with business resources or business workshops, please scan the QR code with your phone just to get live updates of our newsletter. With that being said, thank you very much, Alina, for showing up. And I hope you have a good one.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day.